What's good, people? I don't know, man. I feel like we're doing the same thing every week where we go through this heart attack sort of a finish and we end up with the victory. If you did not see, and I am the one to tell you, the Bears pulled out another improbable victory. They take this one 24-20 over the New York Giants, and you might look at the stats. You might look at the stats tomorrow if you didn't see this game. And what I'm about to say, you're going to think is kind of crazy. But this might have been Caleb Williams' best game. And you're going to look at the stats. You're going to say he was 20 for 36 for 220 yards, a touchdown. He ran for 63 yards and had another touchdown. How was this his best game? You had to watch the game. It wasn't perfect. There was still some stuff that he missed here and there. But overall, what he did to extend plays, make plays with his legs, put the ball on guys, even though we had an insane amount of drops. I want to say the Bears had 5 drops today, and these weren't just any drops. All of these drops were like key drive-killing drops. But even with that, Caleb stayed in the game, kept his head in there, and to me, this game was won on his back. This game was won on his back today. If you are the Giants, you got to be sick. Jackson Dart, I love Jackson Dart. I'll be honest with you. This is my first time getting the chance to watch him extendedly. He has an extremely bright future. He's a gamer, but he is going to have to start sliding, and that not sliding thing is not going to last long. As you saw today, he went out with a concussion, and I think it cost the Giants the game. I really do. I don't know, with the way that they were moving the ball, the way he was making plays with his legs, I don't know that if Jackson Dart doesn't get hurt, if we win this game. But he does. He gets stripped. Fumble comes out. His head smacked and hit the ground at the same time, caused a concussion. He left out. Russell Wilson came in. Russell Wilson looked old and cold, which is those are not good combinations. You don't want to be old and cold. You can't be both. That's too much old. It's just not a good thing. And he came in and did not look ready to play, not physically. I don't know about mentally, but physically he didn't look ready to play. But the Bears, we ran the ball, I thought, very well, even in addition to Caleb Williams' 63 yards on the ground. Caleb's decision to keep that ball and not throw it to Kmet and run it in. When you look back at it, and you're like, man, Kmet was open. But I felt like he believed that he could get that ball into the end zone, which is what he did. And also, if you think about how many drops they had today, I'm wondering if he had any level of a lack of confidence in letting the ball go, even though Kmet wasn't one of the guys who had drops. Even still, I wonder if he just like, you know what, I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna take this one. And you don't mind that at times from your leader or from your quarterback. Sometimes that is where he gets into trouble, because he tries to do a little bit too much. But I don't think that was the case here, obviously, on this drive, which that last drive was honestly, it was all Caleb. We had a solid game from DeAndre Swift, even though he didn't get in the end zone. 13 rushes for 80 yards. I thought he was solid today. I would have liked to see more Monunga. Monunga did get the only rushing touchdown of the day. He had 7 rushes for 28 yards. After the game he had against the Bengals, and with him still averaging 4 yards per carry today, I would have liked to see him get a few more touches. I think that while I like Swift, I do think that Monunga is the one who should get more of the traditional running back duties. He didn't get that today. When Swift came back from injury, he stepped right into his spot. Obviously, like I said, 80 yards on the ground at a 25-yard run wasn't bad. I think the majority of the times that Swift didn't get much was really because I thought the play call was a little weird. But overall, he was solid. The Giants ran the ball way too well on us. Tyrone Tracy had 71 yards on the ground, and Devin Singletary was destroying us for a second. He had 8 yards for I don't know. It felt like Devin Singletary had more than 20 yards on the ground. I don't know. But I know that one particular drive, he was really getting it done. And it was a key moment, too, because Greg Olsen took a lot of exception with Brian Dable not going for it on 4th down and taking the points. I'll be honest, if I was Dabo, I would have took the points as well. I understand what Greg also was saying. I didn't agree with him. I don't think that they lost because he took the points. I think they lost because you had a punter shank a kick. I think they lost because Caleb had a play fantastic. I also think they lost because Jackson Dart got hurt. Those are three other humongous factors in this game. So I don't think that made taking the points the biggest reason that they lost. So we're looking at the passing game, looking at the receiving, at the receivers and tight ends. I didn't think Colston Loveland got enough love, no pun intended. He had 4 catches for 55 yards. He had only 4 targets. Didn't get targeted at all in the first half, despite having a humongous game in the last week. I thought that was a bit of a mistake. Rome Odunze was solid. Did have a drop, 6 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. Actually, one of the bigger touchdowns in the game. Let's talk. Wow, we're having a lot of fun and we're talking about victories, but we got to talk about these drops, and specifically, we got to talk about Olumide Zaccheaus. Bro, what's going on? Like, what is going on? Like, Olumide Zaccheaus, I don't know if I don't remember the last time I saw one guy have that many drops in a game. He had to have 3 or 4 drops today. One of them was in the end zone. Every one of them was big. I have no idea what was going on, but in my opinion, that was enough to say that Luther Burden should be the slot guy at this point. I think Luther has way higher ceiling because of what he can do after the catch. He's faster. He's a guy you just took in the second round. I think this is enough to just elevate him there. I hope that's what we see moving forward. I love the blocking job that we saw from Cole Kmet today. He made some big plays in the run game, and actually the touchdown that Caleb Williams scrambled for, the block that Kmet gave after he didn't get the ball on the slip and the bootleg play, the rollout pass. After he didn't get the ball, the block he threw was the last one that sprung Caleb for the touchdown. Huge. Crazy thing of it. Last week, Rome Odunze went with no catches, right? Bears win. This week, it was DJ Moore, 0 catches. He did get hurt and he was out for a while, but he had 4 targets, no receptions, no yards. I'm not sure that's ever happened in DJ Moore's career in a game that he actually played, unless he maybe went out in the first quarter or something. But he had no catches, no yards. That's funny. That is something that I'm going to see if we see that or how much that's discussed during this week, because we saw what happened with Odunze and his dad. You know, his dad saying crazy stuff. Very selfish statement. I just got to say that, and I don't blame Rome. It's because Rome's his own guy. But, you got the dad coming in saying something after a great win. It's a team victory. And you're talking about how many times your son didn't get targeted. I could even see if they lost. The Bears won the game. And so it's totally like, it's weird, just weird thing. So I don't expect that to happen from DJ Moore's camp necessarily. But it is interesting that last week, no catches and yards for Rome Odunze. This week, no catches and yards for DJ Moore. Defensively, we struggled. We gave up way too much on the ground. There were some pass plays, obviously, but as usual, they did the job they had to do to get it done. CJ Gardner-Johnson with 2 sacks. The sacks that he had, I give him credit for, but I don't know what was going on with the Giants' Jermaine Illuminor. He just decided he was not going to chip, kick out, hit a blitzing cornerback all day. He literally gave dead to right shots at Jackson Dart, and I believe the last one was Russell Wilson. I don't know what was going on there. Tremaine Edmonds continues to have, to me, the best year of his Bears tenure. He came up with the big hit at the end of the game on the last play of the game for the Seahawks to make sure that pass was incomplete. I thought Byard in the secondary they were a little shaky. I thought Tyreek was pretty solid today. Couple really good plays and pass defense. Noah Sewell, not so strong today. He had 6 tackles, but his missed tackle on Devin Singletary that turned into a 44-yard gain was huge. That almost cost the Bears this game. Thankfully, that's when they were able to stiffen up inside the red zone, only give up the field goal, and they were still able to win the game. Going back to that moment, though, while I agree with Dabble taking the points, so I don't totally disagree with Dabble taking the points. I was happy that he took the points because I don't think at that moment we would have stiffened up and stopped Devin Singletary from getting in the end zone. The Bears defensive front looked like they were reeling and tired at that moment, and Dabble elected to play it safe. I don't think that we would have stopped them, especially after the penalty as well. It would have been on the half-inch line. I don't know, man. In this day and age of quarterback sneaks and all of that sort of thing, I just don't know. I'm happy he made the decision he made, but I do think he let the Bears off the hook a bit. Austin Booker, let's talk about him, though. He did not get a sack, but he had 3 quarterback hits. I don't know if any Bears player this year has had 3 or more quarterback, especially any Bears defensive end or defensive lineman has had 3 or more quarterback hits in a game. I'm gonna check to see, but I don't think so. So this, to me, he already is making an impact in the pass rush. We're still not there yet, and quite honestly, I don't think we have the personnel to get there this year. I really don't, but it is at least some positive things looking forward. I really wanted to, that kind of got me thinking that have we ever had a game yet this season where a guy had more than 3 quarterback hits? Now, obviously, some of the best defenses, you'll see some of the best defenses generate games like that all the time. Or if you have an elite pass rusher, you'll see a guy get back there consistently. But we clearly don't have that, especially from an edge rushing standpoint. We don't have that. And so for Austin Booker to put up that sort of game definitely gives you confidence in him going forward. And I'm telling you guys, I'm looking at the Bears at all of these games over through the rest of this season. And I literally, so far, I do not. Somebody tell me in the comment section if they saw this where the Bears got a single edge, any player, let alone a edge rusher that has gotten 3 or more quarterback hits in a game this season. And I don't think we see one yet. I'm almost through all of the games of the schedule this year. And so it was just really, really an impressive performance from Booker. I thought that the defensive line was better overall today than they have been. Not quite good enough. Yes, I just confirmed the Bears have not had a single player all year. He's the first guy on the team to get 3 or more QB hits in the same game. And the Bears had 9 QB hits as a team, which is their season high as well. So I do think that they played better there. We had a sack and a half from Montez Sweat. He is quietly putting together a pretty solid year. I'm not going to lie. Like, I think when he came into this game with 4 sacks, so now he's up to 5.5, which is not wrecking shop. But I'll say it like this. He had 5.5 sacks all of last season. So he's already on pace to have a much better year than he had last year. Gervon Dexter had a half a sack. I believe Gervon Dexter him and Sweat were like tied for the sack lead, so Sweat should have passed him up. And of course, CJ Gardner-Johnson had the 2 sacks. Those were huge. We did not get an interception today, but that's fine. I'm gonna tell you on the special team side, we were much better. Not as many bonehead plays. Coverage was better. I'm still waiting and hoping for a breakout performance or a breakout return from Devin Duvernay. He hasn't been able to generate that yet. I obviously can't put it all on him. It's on the special teams blocking and setting it up for him. But as of right now, no. I think for the most part, Ben Johnson made it an easy day on Cairo Santos because of the wind and the conditions. Neither Ben nor Dabble wanted to really use their kickers much. And so Santos only had the 1 field goal attempt, and it was 22 yards. He knocked that down. He did hit all 3 of his extra points. So he did everything he was supposed to do today. But special teams does matter because the Giants punter shanking that last punt is really what's going on, Beanie Man. I'm sorry I missed that. Giants punter shanking that last punt is really, I'm gonna tell you, that was Jamie Gillen. Jamie Gillen might have a problem tomorrow because that punt off the side of his foot really cost his team this game. I mean, who knows? Maybe Caleb and the Bears are able to come down and score even if they get worse field position than what they started with. But giving them the ball, I think it was on the 50. I think that last starting place was on the 50. Giving them the ball there was just it was at that point, in my opinion, if the Bears did not win the game, it would be a shame. And if that's the case, then yeah, I know they got the ball on their own 47, went 53 yards in a minute and 6 seconds to take the lead. So that Jamie Gillen set that up, and we appreciate you here, Jamie, for sure. But huge win for the Bears, man. Just like every week when I'm about ready to say, okay, we're not ready yet. We got some talent, we got some pieces in place. We have some obvious areas where we have to shore up in the offseason. I'm happy that Ben didn't mortgage a ton of the happy that Ryan Poles didn't mortgage a ton of the future in terms of draft picks, going after guys and overpaying for guys as he has the last couple years. So I'm happy that he didn't do that. Just Ben, to me, wants to trust his team's development, his staff's ability to develop players, including Caleb, including guys like Theo Benedette, including Austin Booker, and including guys like Gervon Dexter. Just this staff staying together and being able to really develop young players. And then next year, he gets to add another set of guys that Ben is picking, that Ben is saying, no, I need that guy. No, I need that guy. I need that guy. And I'm loving that the Bears are seemingly giving Ben Johnson a good amount of input in the decisions that are made from a personnel standpoint. Obviously, it's still Ryan Poe's job. He still has the final say, at least we assume. But Kevin Warren definitely seems to have said from up top, hey, we brought Ben in here. We believe in Ben. We're going to listen to what he has to say. We're going to take it into consideration because at the end of the day, he's the one who has to coach the team, and the team needs to play in the style and the way that he wants to play. So great win. Bears improved to 6-3. The Lions in Washington just got started, so they're still 0-0. As far as Green Bay is tomorrow night against the Eagles. So obviously we know Philadelphia's a good team. There's definitely a chance that the Eagles defeat Green Bay, even though it's on the road. If that happens, Green Bay would fall to 5-3-1. If you're looking at Detroit, well, they just went up 6-0. So there's that. They're more than likely going to kill the Commanders. The Commanders are undermanned down there. Marcus Mariota is starting. So I'm expecting the Lions to win this one pretty handily. So we're more than likely just going to keep pace with the Lions. But we could end up where it won't be a tie. It'll be a tie from a record standpoint in first place with the Lions. But the Lions will have the edge because they beat us head-to-head. And the Bears, as of right now, are 0-2 in the NFC North. So they have no wins in the division. So they would lose pretty much every tiebreaker if it came down to that. So what the Bears need to do, obviously, looking ahead to next week, Bears need to win next week. Next week, they have the Vikings at home, on the road. It's a rematch of a game that they should have won. I'm going to tell you, I tell everybody as much as anybody will listen, Bears should be 7-2. The game that they lost in week 1 against the Vikings is a game that they should have had. And that one, to me, stings more than every other one. The Lions lost. You got punched in the mouth. You got beat by a team that I just think is a better team. We'll see when in the rematch if anything has changed. I just think the Lions are a better team. That's why they got beat like that. They lose to the Ravens. Yes, you can say they should have won that game, but at no point in that game were the Bears like totally in control outside of the first half of the first quarter. The Vikings game, the Bears were in control of that game. They outplayed the Vikings for a little bit over a half and then fell apart down the stretch. Could not score touchdowns. So to me, that was a game that they should have won. But looking ahead, like I said, the Bears get the Vikings next week. I think from a playoff standpoint, I think this Vikings game is a must win. One, you obviously want to go to 7-3. That puts you in a good space. But you got to get a win in the division. Got to get off that schneid in the division. And then you're going into a stretch of games after this Vikings game that is going to be very tough. You after the Vikings next week, you got the Steelers on the 23rd. You got the Eagles on Black Friday. You got the Packers on the road on December 7th. Those are three super tough games. You play the Browns on the 14th, which is a game you should win. But then after that, you're at home against the Packers. Then you go to San Francisco, and then you finish at home against the Lions. If you really want to look at it, the only two games that if you just look at on the schedule and say, without a question, the Bears should win these games, and next week is not open shut because you lost to this team already and you're on the road, but it's the Vikings and the Browns. Every other game on this schedule, I don't think anybody would be shocked if the Bears lose. Now, the way we've been playing, the way we keep fighting, that says, hey, you're going to get something out of this. But we're 9 games in at this point. We got 8 games left. If the Bears need to win at least, they need to go 4-4 the rest of the way to have a chance in making the playoffs. And if they only go 4-4, 2 of those wins got to be in the division. They got to. And even then, that's going to make it tough. So to be honest, 5 wins of the 5, if winning 5 of the last 8 will get them into the playoffs without much of a problem, I would say. 11-6 more than likely should be enough to get them in. 10-7 gets real dicey, especially in a division like the NFC North. I mean, obviously it's a conference situation when we're talking about playoffs, but in the NFC North, this might be the best division in football. Everybody is at or above 500. So it's going to be a tough run the rest of the way. This little middle section here, it's kind of like the gimme games. I predicted that the Bears are going to go on an 8-game win streak after they beat the Cowboys. And if were it not for that stumble against the Ravens, we'd be right on track to do exactly what I said. If they beat the Vikings, that would have won 7 of those 8 games that I predicted that they would win. If you don't believe me, check out one of the videos on my channel. I predicted the 8-game win streak. If they beat the Vikings next week, I'll be 1 off. We'll see. But I want to say my biggest takeaways from today's game is Luther Burden has to get elevated above Olamide Zaccheaus. I like Zaccheaus, but today's performance was just dreadful. You cannot drop that many passes. You just cannot. My next takeaway would be Caleb Williams had, in my opinion, the best game of his career today. It wasn't perfect by any stretch. You can look at the stats and you'll be like, what are you talking about? But if you saw the game, if you saw the plays that he made, if you saw the way he was able to limit mistakes, he utilized checkdowns a little bit more today. I still like to see him use it a little bit more. He missed Swift on a couple. But I thought, now this is before I see the All-22 as well, which I'll watch tomorrow. I thought that still he had his best game. This is a game that they do not win without Caleb Williams playing the way he played. And I think this is the first time that I can recall, especially this season. I have to look back at some of the games last season. But this is the first time that I can recall this season they won a game because of Caleb Williams. As far as the run game, I would like to see Kyle Monangai get more carries than DeAndre Swift. I like to see DeAndre Swift active and involved in the passing game for sure. But they had 20 rushes between the two. 13 of them were for DeAndre Swift, 7 for Kyle Monangai. I personally would like to see that flipped. 13 rushes for Kyle Monangai, about 7 for DeAndre. So that's that. From a wide receiver standpoint or receiver standpoint, I would love to see Colston Loveland get more than 4 targets. He had 4 targets for 55 yards, 4 receptions for 55 yards. I would love to see him. The dude is a playmaker. The dude makes things happen. When they get him involved, he makes things happen. I would love to see him get more involved. Also, here's another thing. From what I understand, the Bears are meeting with Asante Samuel Jr. It's either tomorrow or Tuesday. He has visited with several teams. I don't think he has signed with anybody else yet. I'm going to double check that before I say it because I might be off. I'm assuming he's going to take all of his visits. Yes, so he has not signed with anybody yet, but he visited the Vikings, the Packers, and I want to say the Steelers. The Steelers really have me worried because Mike Tomlin is such a good recruiter. But the Bears are the team that need him the most, in my opinion. And to me, if you get Asante Samuel Jr., you slot him in right there as starting cornerback, right ahead of Deshaun Wright. And now suddenly the Bears have more of an actual NFL level secondary, because as long as Deshaun Wright and Nick McLeod have to play any amount of extended snaps, we're compromised. So Deshaun Wright did have an interception the day that he got knocked out of his hand by Gunnar Olszewski. You can debate whether or not that should have happened or not. Maybe he should have just held on to that. He also had another interception that he should have had. He jumped the route the right way, but he didn't come down with it. So I'm not holding that against him so too much. But throughout this year, I think he has shown that he is a weak area of the defense. And I think Asante Samuel would represent an upgrade in that space. So, I mean, at that point, you just keep C.J. Gardner-Johnson in the nickel spot until Kyler Gordon can get healthy. Who knows? Later on in the season, we might get Jalen Johnson back. Now we got a real nice situation with some depth at corner, and I love the way that shakes out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, guys. That's all I have for you today. Another Bears win. We appreciate it for sure. If you have not yet liked the video, please do so. I need all the likes. I need them all. It helps grow my channel. It's been a struggle, y'all. I'll be honest, because I am not, it's I'm be honest with y'all. The views are low. I feel like I got good stuff to say about the Bears in terms of helpful things. So I need you to make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe. If you have not yet done that, please do so. But I appreciate everybody for watching. God bless and peace.